back. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to mourn the tragic death of our beloved franchise, Star Wars. I know it's been basically a walking corpse for the last few years, but it's official. Time of death. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? Time of death. 6:12 p.m. June 11th, 2014. 2024. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm too emotional. But let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
All right, buddy. What's up? How you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, Gus Becerra, what's up? Where the fuck have you been? Huh? Where have you been? My phone hasn't rang either. Jesus Christ. No, actually, I've been busy. I've been very busy. There's a lot of shenanigans that have been going on and behind the scenes, but overall, things are good.
You tell me I'm in fucking space over here.
Well, of course you're in space. Anybody surprised? You know what? Before we even get into any of that stuff, this is a wake. We need booze for wake, so I'm gonna pop open a cold one. If anybody wants to join me on this tragic day. I don't know why my dog started barking. Hopefully you can't hear her. But
I don't have anything to drink, but I have some ibuprofen.
Sure, I don't care. Go ahead. Do it.
Helps with the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been what, like a month? I was in Canada. You were in Italy. We haven't talked in forever.
Who the fuck are you?
Why is your background different? Why are things different? Why does everything change? Why does it sound better? What did we upgrade? What the hell's going on?
Do we sound better?
I think we do sound better than on Zoom. Zoom was weird. By the way, for everybody, if you want to meet my new puppy, his name's Link. Look at him.
Look at him. He's so cute.
He's so adorable. Say hi, Link. I hope you heard that. Anyway, yeah. Newest puppy, newest member of the family. What else? Let's see. Chuck Dominguez, late to the party. No, man, we just got started. You know, wakes tend to go long. It's been a rough few days, man. It's been a rough few months. So last podcast. I don't even remember how to speak, man. Last podcast I did was the Godzilla X Kong one. I did a review for it, and then I was supposed to do one for Canada, and then I wanted to do one for the Chargers. And then I wanted to do something about the collapse of the entertainment industry in general. But, you know, I've been busy. I had other stuff to do. It's the price of success. Keeps you busy. Keeps you doing other stuff. Also, I took a cooking course. And that ended up taking, a few of my afternoons. But I can cook better now. So.
You were going to review Canada?
Yeah, I was going to share a bunch of videos and stuff. So. It's one of those things that there's not that much to... By the way, cheers, everybody.
Hello.
There's not that much to say because nothing crazy happened. It was just, seeing a whole bunch of beautiful places. But, I don't mind sharing all that stuff. People enjoy watching that. But anyway, so all that stuff I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of Chargers stuff we could talk about. I've seen a buttload of anime lately. We could talk about all that stuff. But I'd say today, let's just try to stick to Star Wars as much as possible after Eric complains about something that he said he wanted to complain. Like, he was raring to go, man. I don't even know what's happening, but for those of you who are here just for Star Wars, I'm sorry. This is how this thing tends to go. As soon as we started our video call, Eric was like, dude, I'm ready to go off on fucking blank. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but he's ready to go. He's look at him. He's furious. He's a mad lad.
I'd already kind of forgotten.
See, he's also an idiot. But let me just see this real quick. Back. It's way too early for Halloween. What the fuck is that on your face? Me or Eric? Who? The facial hair? Is it me or you? Both of us. I don't know. My girlfriend likes it. That's the only thing that matters. And also, I don't have to shave every day, which is great. Chuck Dominguez, you mofos, you guys traveling and us followers all worry and shit. Sorry. Again, it's the price of success. Glad you guys are back. Canada. There's only snow in Canada. Haha. Eric, Tuesday meltdown. Eric, the floor is yours if you remember what it is you wanted to complain about.
Well, it's hard to forget because goddamn FedEx is what it is.
What they do?
Goddamn FedEx.
What they
What
do?
the fuck is wrong with them?
Deliver a pain in the ass? What the hell happened? What's
No,
going
I
on?
wish they did.
They didn't deliver nothing. That's the problem. I'd take
Well,
the
I'm
pain
waiting.
in the ass.
You know, I ordered a new phone. I ordered a new phone on Amazon.
Okay. Oh, you
know?
followed my advice.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck me, right?
Yeah. What'd you wait? Why is FedEx delivering from Amazon? That makes no
don't know.
damn sense. That makes
don't
no.
know.
This
Let's
story just
start
keeps
right
getting
there.
stupider and
Let's start
stupider.
Right there. Let's start right there, motherfucker.
Okay, what happened?
So I don't know why Apple decided to send the phone through fucking FedEx through Amazon. All right, fine.
They should have
whatever.
used UPS. You know, one of our
Yep.
boys works there, David. But anyway.
Love them.
Oh, he's
But-
not. He's not your mailman anymore. Oh, he's not a UPS guy anymore. You moved.
Damn. Well, I moved too, so maybe he is.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Continue. Go ahead.
Well, the point is, I was waiting for the phone, and it said it's gonna be delivered at around June 13th, and okay, so that's not today. That's in 2
Nope.
days,
No.
so I don't have to give a shit.
Yeah.
And I was at work today, and my girlfriend was also working, so nobody was here. And all of a sudden, I get home, and there's a little tag that says delivery attempted. I'm like, delivery attempted? Why'd you attempt a delivery? I'm not here.
Nobody asked. Could have asked.
And there's not even the option of, being like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Just leave it
Yeah.
next time, Just
Sure.
leave it.
That would be convenient.
So, anyways, I download the fucking app like it says right here.
And you got to go to a store.
And, well, no, it says scan the little barcode. It's got a little motherfucker right here. So I scan the barcode and it says scanning doesn't work. And it's like, okay. Let me then, do it through Amazon. Try to check there. Oh, there's a tracking ID. And it's like, all right, look for the tracking ID. Tracking ID doesn't fucking work.
Okay.
All right. So it's time to call customer service.
Fun.
I call and I get the robot. Please tell me what your problem is.
Oh no.
I'm like, this is a long conversation, lady. But
You
for
know-
the moment, I just need to talk to a customer service representative.
You know, the key to that is you need to cuss. When you cuss,
I don't know
they send you to a person. I don't know why. Like the machine doesn't
Well,
know
I
how to
don't know what
process
it
it. And that's what I do.
First off, you know where it sent me the first time?
It I don't know. It dropped you.
It sent me to a non-UPS store.
I thought it's FedEx.
Oh yeah, a non-FedEx store.
Okay.
I was thinking of a good service.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Sorry. Well, actually, it did send me to one that was UPS as well,
Mm-hmm.
but it was not FedEx affiliated. I'm like, oh, so I have my a delivery today, but I wasn't here, so what can I do? And they're like, we don't do FedEx. But I was sent here by the FedEx robot.
The robot sent me. How could
And he's like,
How
"Oh,
could
yeah,
the robot be
that-
wrong?
Well, the worst thing is the guy actually said, oh, yeah, that happens a lot.
Oh, okay. That makes
Yeah.
it better. Now I feel better.
So I call back to the robot, and eventually I get a human.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, okay, great, I have a human. Sadly, it's
A dumb human.
no, it's a very, very, very Asian lady that I'm sure was definitely in America.
Sure. That's yeah.
Yeah, so it was hard to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
but I just told her, hey, I'm not gonna be home tomorrow when you attempt to do the delivery again, because I'm doing this thing called the work.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got
she's
him
like-
to drop it off at a store and you're picking it up.
Of course, let's just leave it at a location. Tell me which one. I'll drive 10 fucking miles if you need me to.
Of course.
All right?
Yeah.
I just want this fucking phone now
Sure.
and to stop dealing with this. So just tell me where to fucking drop it off.
Just tell me where
And
to go.
She's like, oh no, we can't give you a location because it has to be through the shipper directly. I'm like, through the shipper? I thought you're the shipper.
Uh-huh.
You're the FedEx people.
What are you
No, no,
then?
no,
What is FedEx then?
Who am I talking to now?
Mm-hmm.
And no, it turns out that the shipper directly, the driver.
What?
I gotta contact them. And I'm like, okay, do you have his
Ah,
phone
man,
number?
how pissed off are you now that it's not UPS and David? You can find him like that.
I can just start the podcast and be like, hey, Dave, where's my fucking phone?
Okay, so what'd you do?
What'd I do? Well, it was 5:30, so I had to start the podcast.
Oh, well, whoops, sorry. Anyway,
And now I have to figure out a way to receive my phone, even though they're gonna try to come by tomorrow at like 1 p.m. Guess what? I'm not here.
so
So I don't know.
they gave you a window at the middle of the day. That's just dumb. But I mean, we've
They don't even allow you to set a time like a time preference or whatever.
listen.
I could contact the shipper.
Listen. I have something similar that I could complain about, but it's with Best Buy. That was for work. It's not as much fun, but I think we need to get back to the wake. Or do you want to continue Or do you want to continue ranting? I don't mind it, because I got a bone to pick with Best Buy too.
No, I think for the moment I'm.
You good? You got it out of your system?
At least I still have another fucking phone. It's just
Good.
God.
All right, you survived. You'll make it. You'll make it through the day.
Anyways, tell me about how Star Wars fucking sucks now.
All right, so we're gathered here in remembrance of one of the great IPs of all time. For those of you who don't know what an IP is, that's an intellectual property. I guess you can call it a franchise or whatever. And we are here to kind of celebrate its existence. Celebrate all the good things it brought into our lives, because it's clearly fucking dead. It's gone. It's over. Sayonara. Finito. And if it's not technically dead, it's because, like I mentioned before, it's just like a zombie being taken control of by a bizarre Disney-looking necromancer, and it fucking hates its fans. So, since it hates its fans, and I happen to be one of the fans, I'm not giving him money anymore. And so to me, it's effectively dead. There's more than enough Star Wars content out there that's good enough that we can continue consuming pretty much for the rest of our lives. And so, I'm done with all the new shit. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. It's nonsensical. And it commits, and they're committing pretty much the cardinal sin of a franchise, of a business. Here's free advice to anybody. Anybody who wants a business, anybody who has a business, anybody who wants to start a business. Free advice, all right? Number one thing, never to do. Do not, I repeat, do not insult your fans, okay? That doesn't mean don't make fun of them. Make fun of them all you want, especially if they're cool. They'll love you more for it. That doesn't mean do exactly what they want. No. What I mean very specifically is do not insult your fans. What that means is that when you make a crappy product and the fans don't like it, ergo they don't buy it, ergo you lose money, you don't take it out on them and call them a bunch of misogynists, losers, or whatever. Why? Because we will just simply not give you money anymore. Because fuck you. It's that simple. Easiest, best piece of advice, works for any business. You know, if you work in a restaurant, customers are dicks, all right? They suck. Most of the time, you ask them politely to leave when they're being dicks, you know, but you don't insult them. You don't call them a dick to their face. Do not insult your customers. Do not insult your fans. Basic rule 101. And this means also, do not insult their intelligence. Star Wars, Disney, for years has been insulting our intelligence with this franchise, doing a whole bunch of bullshit and trying to pretend like, no, it's okay. That's totally canon. That totally makes sense. It would have happened, blah, blah. Bitch, we know the franchise. We've seen the movies. We know exactly how this works. Why are you...
Off,
what?
Let me just interject. It has been bullshit, the fact that they claim it was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It seems very futuristic. I don't think it happened a long time ago.
Well, it's one of those, you know, civilizations that fell because it's a fallen world. Also, it's really far away.
It is very, very far away.
Mm-hmm. So technically,
it was
listen. You know what? Fuck you. You know what? Fuck you. You know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna explain it right now. It happened so far away that the light, it's barely reaching us right now, and so when we look at it, it looks like it's that time, right? It looks like it's that time period. So like if they look at us, if they look over at us, they'd be seeing like life 65 million years, you know, away. They'd be like seeing dinosaurs. That's how that works.
So
Bitch.
it's like a documentary. It's like an actual feed we're seeing.
No, real life ain't that stupid. It's well, actually, this was written by real people, so maybe. Okay, so this
Maybe a multiverse.
maybe. Let me see. Check the fingers. Yeah, I don't know about that. I had customers telling me that midgets with green lasers are fucking up with the internet signal. Listen, I am not saying that customers and fans are not stupid. All right, there are.
Oh yeah,
Plenty of them.
The biggest lie in customer service is that the customer is always right.
No,
Fuck
that
that.
nobody ever finishes that phrase. It's customers always right in matters of taste. And in matters of taste, sure. Like, I want this thing to be blue. It looks better green, but fine, you want it blue? Customers always right in matters of taste. But, you know, assholes want to take advantage of that and be like, oh yeah, customers always right, period. No, it's in matters of taste. I'm not saying that fans or customers are not stupid, all right? I'm saying do not insult all of them because one of them is stupid, all right? There's a big difference, all right? Sure, are there misogynists who are fans of Star Wars? Sure. Are you claiming
Guilty.
that guilty? First on the line. Are you?
Fucking crucify-
Do not
crucify
say
me.
that all your fans are misogynists and that's why your crappy show failed, all right? There's a big difference between A and B, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? Because I don't like being insulted. I just don't. Especially when you are selling subpar products, all right? So you create a crappy story, you create a crappy product, and you try to sell it to me, and I tell you, no, I don't like it. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous. It's not cool enough. The chick's not hot, blah, blah. And they're like, you just hate it because you hate women. It's like, some of them, sure, but not all of them. And that's not the reason, because there's a bunch of franchises that I love that are just for chicks. All right?
The number that I hate is increasing by the day.
I just added you to the list. You're on the list. Let me see. By the way, I was stoked about Deadpool 3, but then I saw it's timeline based. I'm scared. Yep. Again, we can get into in another day the collapse of the entertainment industry in general, because it's not just Disney. All right. Disney's in trouble. Star Wars and Marvel are in trouble, and they're part of Disney. Ubisoft's in big trouble. Microsoft's in big trouble. Warhammer's in big trouble. Everybody and their mother in the entertaining industry is in big trouble, you know, except From Software because they're based. And Nintendo seems to be doing fine. So there's a few people
DLC, Elden Ring DLC comes out this month, baby.
Hells yeah! Hell's freaking yeah! So there's people who know their role, stay in their lane, and just shut the fuck up because they're focused on actually creating good products. But overall, the entertainment industry is collapsing. World of Warcraft is collapsing. StarCraft is not doing too great. It's being held up by the tournament people, but they're about to come out with the biggest competitor of it by the people who actually made StarCraft. So the world times are a changing. Amazon, Lord of the Rings is in trouble. Halo, it's in trouble. Everybody and their mother is just bleeding money in the entertainment industry, and it's hysterical. But again,
Did you see the Assassin's Creed thing?
oh, of course I saw the Assassin's Creed thing. Are you kidding me? That's again Ubisoft. Ubisoft's in big freaking trouble. And you know, sticking to the Star Wars vein. This thing locked me out. Shit. All right. Sticking to the Star Wars vein, Ubisoft is actually coming out with a Star Wars video game. Let me see if I can have the image here. Star Wars Outlaws, which is basically like a chick Han Solo, right? But first off, the chick is ugly. I don't know why they made her specifically ugly, because the model that she's modeled after is kind of, you know, a hottie. So they made her ugly on purpose for some reason, because I don't know, F you. And also, it's Ubisoft. Everybody hates Ubisoft right now. Ubisoft are the dudes who said, customers need to get comfortable with the idea of not owning their games. Like, all right, fine, you need to be comfortable with the idea of not getting my money. Because if I'm paying to buy something, I'm gonna own it, right? I'm not renting it. And they also removed a freaking video game from their server, so all the money that people had invested in that particular game lost everything. They just stole your money. So Ubisoft's in big fucking trouble. What?
Which game?
Oh man, the Heist.
The Division?
No, it's the Heist or something like that. I don't know. Point is, people bought it, they paid for it, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're not gonna support it anymore. So F you, we're stealing your money. They stole money. It's ridiculous. Anyway, this game.
Well, you can argue that a game that's only online based, are you getting your money's worth if that game no longer has an online player base?
I don't know. But here's the thing. People paid for it. you paid for a game that you want to be able to play whenever you want. That's the fun part of owning. This is why I don't like digital copies, because whenever they decided, they're like, yeah, fuck you, we're done, we're not supporting you anymore. So that's why I tend
not
to.
if you have it downloaded.
Sure, but the point is, people lost their money. They just stole their money. So Ubisoft ain't getting a penny from me anytime soon. Also, the game looks stupid. Also,
Gus Becerra, what are you talking about? Gus says, I'm surprised no one has tried to cancel Mario. There's 0 black characters other than Donkey Kong. Bowser was played by Jack Black.
Let me see. Gus doesn't feel the same way. The Boys is still good. I haven't seen season 3 comes out this week. I'm excited for that, but we'll see.
I haven't seen The Boys. Although
The Boys
have been,
is
you know
fun.
what I've been doing? I've been reading a bunch of mostly DC comics lately.
Okay.
Kind of got like
Dude.
a kick out of that.
Dude, Kill the Justice League lost like $200 million. Like one bad video game can destroy a studio. Ubisoft is coming out with Star Wars Outlaws in a time where people are fucking pissed off at Star Wars, and they're pissed off at Ubisoft, and they're coming out with the Assassin's Creed Shadows thing, which everybody hated. So this may be the end of Ubisoft because of 2 games. They could lose $500 million on 2 games. Easy. It's nuts. It's nuts how stupid these people are. But again, I'll get to that deeper into that when I go into the collapse of the entertainment industry in general, because the issue kind of is that money people took over the jobs of engineers and the creatives. And turns out that money people are a bunch of idiots sometimes, They just follow trends that are like, oh, this should be a good idea financially. Turns out, yeah, not so much. You're going to end up collapsing your fucking company. But, whatever. Finish your idea.
Well, what I was saying is, I started noticing a trend in comic books that's actually fucking hilarious. It's called the Ginger Genocide.
Of course, yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's specifically ginger characters who are being literally replaced by black characters. And I don't mean like, oh, this character, it's a journalist, like Jimmy Olsen, who was like a friend of Superman, but now Superman has another friend and he's a black friend. No, Jimmy Olsen is now black.
That's one thing that I kind of respect.
Mary Jane.
No, I kind of respect the one in Spider-Man, because the new Spider-Man, the Tom Holland ones, it's not Mary Jane, it's MJ, but it's Michelle something. So it's MJ, but it's not Mary Jane. I'll give him
Mary
that.
Jane.
What? It's not Mary Jane.
But
it's Michelle something. Sure, but again, that's the exception.
They tried pulling a fast one on that one.
Sure, like the Flash's girlfriend. I always forget her name.
That's what I was.
Ariel,
Look,
kind of probably the most famous redhead, maybe in fiction.
Well, the reason is I was watching the Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, which is mainly about Flash.
Sure.
And he meets his girl, a love interest, and it's a black girl. And I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, it's Barry Allen. Like, seems like he'd be cool with that. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a comic book movie. They did not. They did. They did not. They didn't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
No. So I had to Google white redhead.
Yeah, that's the original one.
Redhead.
That's the OG.
Yep.
And yeah, they do know. I don't know. I don't know why specifically redheads. And I've always said that there are certain roles where it doesn't matter. Like I'm not gonna cry about particular things just because of the casting decision. Sometimes they're better if it's a good enough actor or actress. But there are times where
I thought Jim Gordon, he was okay in the last Batman movie.
Well, that kind of screws up Barbara Gordon, but whatever.
But she wasn't there.
Sure. The thing where it bothers me is where race is actually important. And let's say, for example, House of the Dragon, making Valyrians black but still silver-haired in a story that's about kind of pretending or trying to pretend that they're not cheating on somebody. It's just ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense. It annoys me. And in situations like, let's say, The Little Mermaid, that's a character that's so freaking iconic, and then we're supposed to pretend. So we're supposed to pretend that Ariel is not like a redheaded Danish looking girl, which is, the original story is Danish. We actually went to, Denmark, and we saw the statue there in the ocean and all that stuff. But they say it's like, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Yet they keep the girl's hair red, right? If it doesn't matter, why are you keeping the hair red? And then if you actually mention it, it's like, hey, well, why didn't you just change the hair color? They're like, well, Ariel's hair's red. Okay, you know what else is different? You know what else is a different fucking color? Jesus Christ. Stupid. April O'Neil, Jesus Christ. I nearly lost my shit when I was doing the reviews of the movie last year. Because I'll say it a million fucking times. All right? The issue for certain characters, particularly the fictional ones, it's not that you change the race, is that you make them ugly. All right? The crime with April O'Neil, one of the biggest hotties in, cartoon, comics, fiction, all that stuff, which it's actually the reason why, the turtles fall for all that stuff. You made her ugly. Why? What was the purpose? What was gained? You could have made her like a Beyonce looking girl, but no, you went like for a fat, kind of unlikable, gross chick who throws up all over the place. You went out of your way to make her gross. Why? What's the point? Right? It's supposed to be kind of like a sex symbol, but no, you went out of your way to say fuck you and spit on the fan's face. My face. And I don't like being spat on my face. All right? Again.
I wouldn't mind being spat on by the original April O'Neil.
Of course. Or, the Megan Fox before Machine Gun Kelly, because I'm sure she's got a bunch of STDs now. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, Snow White's also a big example. Point is, those are examples for spitting on your fans' face. And again, if you mention it, if you notice, the problem is not that they did it. The problem is that you noticed and you don't like it. Okay?
You see, this is the reason we grew out the mustaches. We had to accentuate that we're Latino, not white. Give us a little protection here.
I don't think I have. Do I look there? Should I just leave the mustache? That way I look, more Latino.
You look like the gay guy in The Sopranos.
Go fuck yourself. Seriously?
I'll show you.
What's the name? Just I'll Google it because I can put it on the screen.
I'll send it to you on Discord.
All right. Jesus Christ. Anyway, before you derail this conversation any further, you know why we're saying that Star Wars is dead, specifically today. So today airs, or has already aired, I don't even know, episode 3 of The Acolyte. Okay? Episode 3 of The Acolyte. Now, for those of you who don't know what The Acolyte is, it's a Disney Plus TV show. I have not watched it because I have better things to do with my time. I have, walls to watch with paint drying because those seem more entertaining. I spend a lot of time crossing the border, just sitting there in my car, staring into space because that's more entertaining than watching The Acolyte, right? Now, I considered watching it just so that I could rip it to shreds because it actually makes me feel better to grab something and rip it to shreds. But yeah, I have better use of my time. However, I did see a few reviews and I did read the summary of the episode, and a few episodes, and enough to be informed and to be like, yeah, this kind of looks like a dumb piece of shit. And so a few examples of stupid things that happen in The Acolyte. For those of you who don't know what the hell The Acolyte is, the TV show basically is about two twin sisters. One's a good one, one's a bad one. I believe it's the time of the High Republic, and it's kind of a murder mystery. The bad one killed a Jedi Master, Trinity from The Matrix, and so the good one got the guy from Squid Games, who's a Jedi Master, and they're trying to go catch her, basically. Pretty much. Kind of. Here's just a few things that are stupid with that show that I was like, yeah, again, I got a lot of paint to watch dry. The girl, the bad girl, the bad twin kills a Jedi Master on one planet, while the sister is working on a spaceship on the other side of the galaxy. Jedis find her because the bartender saw the bad sister and is like, that's the chick. So, on the other side of the fucking galaxy, you think it would be a good enough alibi to be like, hey, I didn't kill somebody. Or you think, they might have checked surveillance, or they would have done other more interesting, but no. It's because the bartender saw a black girl with dreads, and they're immediately like, it's that girl on that ship. Like, that's That's next level detective work, right? That's stupid thing number one. Stupid thing number two, they put out a fire in space. Now, I know what you're thinking. We've seen Star Wars ships blow up and all that. That's for effects. This, I mean, an actual part of the ship was on fire. They needed to stop. They needed to get out and put out that fire.
There's fire in space?
Yes, in space. This is how stupid these people are. They're so stupid that they don't know that you need oxygen for fire, and you can't have fire in space. If anybody would have read anything for 5 seconds, if they would have looked into it for 3 seconds, they would have been like, hey, you know what? Maybe this is a stupid plot point. But no, because fuck you. You aren't worthy of me taking 3 seconds of my time. I'm already smart enough. I already know everything, and I'm not going to waste my fucking time trying to come up with a better solution to this because you're too stupid to know that you can't start a fire in space. Anyway, you never sent me the image of the guy.
I did. It's on the image channel.
There's an image channel? Jesus Christ. How do we even get to it?
I'm teaching Dario how to use Discord.
So far it's it's an improvement. All right, images. It says failed to load. It says failed to load. I don't know why.
Well, that's your fucking problem.
All right. Anyway, what's the name of the guy? I'll just look it up.
No, I got it here.
What's the name of the guy?
Again.
What?
I don't know his name.
But the character. I'm just gonna do.
He's the guy who makes the Johnny cakes.
Johnny cakes. Oh, dude with the handlebar mustache?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
I don't see it. Let me just see. All right, putting it up there. All right, let's go full screen. I don't see it.
You see it, right?
Dude's got like a full handlebar. Mine stops right here. I got like closer to the freaking Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow, that it doesn't go all the way. That's a full handlebar mustache. That dude looks like the lead singer from Metallica.
I don't know. I could see you being this gay dude.
Thanks. All right. That's a thing you said. Anyway, so issues with this show. Going back to the Acolyte. So stupid stuff. Episode 2. First off, they have a fat Jedi. So, and I don't mean like a fat alien Jedi. I mean just like a normal human dude who's fat, who's also a Jedi. You know, dudes who are supposed to have self-control, masters of their body and mind, but whatever. Fat Jedi. There's a guy who honestly looks like he's both super old and super young, who for some reason is capable of creating a force field around him that nobody can penetrate. And so the way that the villainess kills him is she gives him poison so she'll kill himself. And the guy's like, all right, I guess I'll just take this poison. Well, I don't know, because this show's stupid, all right? It's stupid. So the thing that's really pissing people off, everybody was waiting for episode 3. Because episode 3, the people who've seen the first 4 episodes are like, dude, episode 3 breaks Star Wars forever, right? It's the worst thing that's happened to the franchise. By the way, you're blurry. Okay, you're back. It's, if cops can be fat asses, so can Jedis. No, they can't. I refuse. Anyway.
The archetype of a cop is like a guy who eats donuts. We're not about discipline.
True. Anyway. So what I've heard happens, and again, I choose to believe it. Just, fuck it. What happens is that turns out that these 2 twin sisters are actually grew up with a coven of witches. And this coven of witches, they're all lesbians. And so they're born out of 2 mothers who created them using the Force. So basically they're hijacking the whole Anakin story, which was a stupid story, but it's supposedly what made Anakin special. They're hijacking that, and not only did they hijack that, they're actually better because they made 2 of them, twins. And I guess the chick's pissed off because the Jedi came to take them because they could feel that they were Force sensitive. And so they were taking one of the twins. The other one got mad and she burned all her Jedi stuff and ended up burning up her village and killing all her family and all that stuff. And so everybody thought she was dead or something. I don't know. It was really stupid. I don't know why you're mad at the Jedi because you started a fire that killed your family, but whatever. That's, again, I haven't seen the episode. That's what I've heard that happens. The issue here is just this is the culmination of what Kathleen Kennedy is basically the person who's in charge of Star Wars in Disney, called the Force being female, right? You remember that. She said that the Force is female. And so I believe
You mean the Force has a pussy?
maybe, I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense. For those of you who don't know the theory of why Anakin was born, you know, kind of like Jesus without a father, or at least that's what the mother claims in The Phantom Menace. The reason why that's theorized is because of Pelagius. You remember Pelagius the Wise? Is it the Wise?
Pelagius the Wise. He was said to be knowledgeable in ways of the Force that were
basically the dude was trying. Yeah, the dude was trying to do like a super thing, almost kind of to find immortality. And while he was trying to do one thing in one side of the galaxy, the Force created a response on the other side of the galaxy, which was, you know, the birth of Anakin. So in trying to kind of create eternal life for himself in a way, or rebirth, he accidentally created a situation where, you know, if you move too far to one side, there's an equal and opposite response, and Anakin's the response to that. Okay, so it was basically an accident, a miracle, call it whatever you want. It wasn't somebody creating a lesbian daughter with the Force, all right? No, a daughter, creating twins with your lesbian lover, all right? That's crazy. And so
that sounds like something the Asari would do.
And so they've ultimately changed. By the way, the Asari, yeah, kind of. But they've fundamentally changed what the Force is. You know, Yoda explains what the Force is. It's basically like an energy that flows between everybody. And in this show, they explain that the Force is not an energy, it's a thread. And you can manipulate that thread. So it's kind of more tangible. So it's magic. And this is the issue with the newest.
It always was.
Yes and no. The Force in the originals, it was kind of vaguer. It could be manipulated in certain ways, but it wasn't just straight up bullshit magic. You couldn't just do magic with it, right? It was magical, but you couldn't do magic with it. Does that make some certain sense?
You could become a ghost.
So?
I don't know. It's pretty magic. You can speak through, you know, telepathically and push people and do crazy flips and sort of have precognition.
Uh-huh.
So the Force is a magic system.
Yeah, again, it's magical, but you couldn't manipulate it like a wizard. You needed to be. There were certain prerequisites. There were certain. You need to be.
That has always been the appeal of Star Wars.
Well,
it's space wizards with laser swords.
Well, it's kind of you needed to be in tune with it, and that would allow you to do stuff with it. Not you can just manipulate it to do what you want to your will. It's more like you discover stuff with it and what things you can do. Does that make sense?
Well, but there's always been the thing that you can manipulate it, like with Pelagius the Wise. He created, and Sith all throughout history, they have created techniques and whatnot with the Force.
And it's always been kind of an abomination in certain ways.
That's why they're based.
Anyway, the point is, they
Darth Revan for life, motherfucker.
They wanted to change the way that Yoda described it to the audience and all that stuff. And so, if the Force is female in this point, I'm like, you know what? You can have it. You can just have it. Because it's not that I don't want Star Wars, it's that you don't want me. And so, you know what? I try to be a positive person with these things. And it's like, you know what? Thank you. Because you're saving me a lot of money. Because I'm one of those idiots, you know, I buy merch, I buy shirts, I buy hats, I play your video games, I go watch your movies. But if you don't want me anymore, because you're not making stuff for me anymore, fine. I'll just save my money and I'll spend it somewhere else. I'll use it on other stuff. Because again, everything's too fucking expensive right now. And so I'll just, thank you. Thank you. I can move on because the things that you've made in the last few years are just total fucking garbage. And we can go through the list of total fucking garbage. So Disney got Star Wars. They made The Force Awakens, right? Force Awakens, overall, not a terrible film, not super creative. The one thing that is criminal is that they
want to do the rating system where it's like good, so down.
If The Force Awakens, sure. All right, if The Force Awakens would have come out by itself and old Star Wars did not exist, I'd say it's okay to good. The thing that brings it down...
I was optimistic when it came out.
I was excited when I watched it. It's exciting. You know, there's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of feelings. The thing that makes it go down is how they just straight up insulted and destroyed all of the OG characters. They grabbed Han Solo and butchered him. They destroyed him. All the character progression, everything that he had done in the previous films, all the stuff that he did in the books, they were just like, fuck that. He's a loser. He's a deadbeat dad. He's a failure as a father. He's a failure as a husband. He's a failure as a military. He's just a straight up the worst kind of failure. He's worse than he was before, right? And we saw his progression. We saw the story of Han Solo is a kind of a lovable scoundrel, gets in trouble, doesn't really care, doesn't want to be a part of things, and eventually growing into a pretty capable leader, right? Growing into a good guy. And if you read the books, by the way, I recommend read the books, the Heir to the Empire books. Those are actually good Star Wars stories. That's actually the good sequel. You see him develop into a father, more capable leader. He has to go toe-to-toe with General Thrawn in strategy sometimes. He has to protect his family. So you see him...
Why haven't they done Thrawn?
What?
Why haven't they done Thrawn?
They have done Thrawn. I will get to Thrawn, all right? I'm pissed off. They did him in Ahsoka. But anyway. So they did The Force Awakens.
Well,
I'd say...
I'm going to say, because I actually pulled up a list of the Star Wars TV shows and movies in release order.
Sure.
So there was reason to be, pretty optimistic at first. Second release,
the return
Rogue
of
One.
Yeah, Rogue One was great. Rogue One's phenomenal.
Two of these.
The return of Clone Wars. That was great. They closed out that series. It was fine. Little did we know that it was the beginning of Dave Filoni's fall. They had The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian season 1 and 2 are good. Season 3, kind of shit. Then you get the the Last Jedi. Last Jedi.
Last Jedi was before Mandalorian.
Sure, whatever. The worst of the number movies by far. By far. I mentioned this plenty of times. I had a conversation with Timothy Zahn once. I was lucky enough. For those of you who don't know who Timothy Zahn is, he's actually the author of the canon book, of the sequel books, Heir to the Empire, all that stuff. And Last Jedi had just come out. We started talking about it, and we kind of ripped it a little bit. He didn't go too hard on it because, again, he knows where his bread's buttered. But he did mention one thing that was pretty simple because I complained about something super simple. It's like, well, this whole movie, you got a bunch of ships following another ship because, they're waiting for it to run out of fuel. Why couldn't you just send one of your faster ships, to jump ahead of it and, and blockade them? Seems kind of like a logical thing to do. And Timothy Zahn was like, yeah, it's because none of these people have ever read anything about military theory. And at that moment, I was like, Timothy, dude, I'm reading your fucking books. Because you just said the words military theory in the context of Star Wars, which I don't think anybody has ever done ever. So I'm going to read your stuff. And actually, it's pretty good. So,
I've always been kind of confused on, because people always make the equivalence of like, oh, yeah, space battles are basically like air battles and, in the planet. But it's like, okay, in air battles in our planet, it's like they go like this. But in space, you can go like that. Yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like infinitely, right?
Not infinitely, but sure.
Well, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's never made a lot of sense to me that they try to make it like a 1-to-1 where it's like, this is how space battles are supposed to be because it's air based, but it's not really air based because you have a completely different dimension here.
I can explain
where
it.
All of a sudden, you go like this, and now this is up.
I can explain it.
You know what I'm saying?
I can explain it. It's the exact same reason why the ships blow up. It's because it looks better on film. Because it's easier to follow for the audience.
You have the big fleet. You have the big fucking fleets going like that.
Yeah, it's easier for.
But I'm like,
it's easier for the audience to follow.
Why would I ever attack anybody face on in space? Why wouldn't I just
in the books they kind of do exactly that what you're talking about. But yeah, the reason why they do that in the films is because otherwise the audience would be super confused. Be like, what the hell am I watching? Anyway, let's see a few comments here.
That has always been my hot take.
Chuck Dominguez has a very important, serious question, and that's can we fuck the Force? And let me tell you, guy, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm 100% sure that the Force can fuck you. So keep that in mind. The Force was the Holy Spirit.
Forcefully.
Chuck the Mingus. I bet they use special lightsaber to get pregnant. Ooh. If it wasn't for Bluey and Spidey, I would have canceled Disney Plus a while ago. Sure.
What's Bluey?
It's a kids show about I don't know, I guess like a dog in Australia or something. Anyway, so you got
I like the National Geographic stuff too, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so you got The Last Jedi, which basically destroyed Luke Skywalker. Again, all the progress that the characters have made, total collapse, total destruction. It ruined everything that it looked like J.J. Abrams was building up in the first movie. You know, who's Rey's parents and all that stuff. And so I don't know what the fuck they were thinking getting Rian Johnson for this movie, but Rian Johnson just torpedoed absolutely everything. Again, it made me almost not care about watching the next movie. And since then, you know, J.J. Abrams came back and he tried his best to fix the freaking giant pile of shit that Rian Johnson left him. And in certain ways, I call The Rise of Skywalker a success, mostly because, again, he started up with crap, but he still added a bunch of stuff that made no sense. Like, hey, let's find this ancient artifact so we can go to where the Death Star crashed just a few years ago. Let's, you know, do a charge out on the hull of a plane riding horses for some bizarre reason. Let's have Finn follow Rey, like half the film being like, Rey, I need to tell you something, and then have him never say it. It was bizarre. Then let's somehow Palpatine return. What the fuck are you doing? What? I get you had to do it because, you know, they killed the bad guy that you were building up. But Jesus fucking Christ, what the hell am I watching here? What's going on? It's ridiculous. It's dumb. It's stupid. But, you know, put a bow on it. The prequel movie, the sequel movies are done. You can kind of move on with your life and not have like the worst taste in your mouth ever. You can just pretend they didn't exist. But then they continue.
The indication that it was clearly they were mismanaging the IP.
Yeah,
was right there from the get-go when they, for some reason, planned out a trilogy with
3 different directors,
3 different writers
who were not talking to each other.
Yeah, like, okay, so JJ was gonna start it, and then another guy was gonna continue it, and then a third guy was gonna do something else with that.
Yeah, and they were not talking to each other. That's the craziest part. They were just kind of like, yeah, you can do it. And so they've had a whole bunch of other projects fall apart. Like, you remember D&D was supposed to do a Star Wars project. That fell apart. They did the Solo movie.
Honestly, I kind of wish they had made it.
At this point, they made the Solo movie, which sucked. They destroyed freaking Han Solo. Like, it wasn't enough what they did to my boy in The Force Awakens. They had to just keep spitting on his fucking grave. What else? They did Andor. Andor is a legitimately good show. I highly recommend it, but that's tied to Rogue One. It's the same director. And so it's one dude who actually knows what the fuck he's doing. It's a different vibe. It doesn't feel Star Warsy. It feels more like sci-fi and like an actual civil war in space. So that one's good. They made, again, The Mandalorian. What? The Bad Batch is clones from Clone Wars. It's like an elite troop that their adventures post Order 66. They made Rebels. I didn't really care for it because it seems like a kiddie show. They made Book of Boba Fett, which was fucking garbage. First off, it ruined The Mandalorian's season 2 ending. And then they added the Power Rangers for some bizarre fucking reason. They ruined Boba Fett. It was a total shit show. Disgustingly bad. Then they made Ahsoka. Ahsoka has...
They made Visions. You remember that one? That one's okay.
Oh yeah, a bunch of different directors from different studios.
I like the one with the samurai.
Yeah, that one was cool. They're like anime shorts. Then they made, like I said, Ahsoka. Ahsoka has its moments. Basically, it's just one episode where Hayden Christensen returns. That one's like kind of okay. They also made, Kenobi. Did you even watch Kenobi? I saw one episode. I was bored. It was like, this is stupid. I don't care. And so they've just 99% of what they made has been total garbage. And it kind of spreads out to all the other stuff. Like, for example, they released Star Wars Battlefront for the Nintendo, for like a remastered version for the Switch, right? You remember the OG Battlefronts, right?
Yeah.
Like the one for the GameCube. It was a phenomenal game. Or was it for the Xbox? I don't know.
I used to love play that game.
Yeah. So they released it for the Switch. I'm not kidding you, the same fucking game. The same fucking game. They didn't update anything. It's the same fucking game, but it's more expensive because it's, you know, the remaster. It's not remaster, it's the re-release. So if you bought the game on Steam, the original one, for like, I don't know, 2 cents, because that's what it's worth right now, and you bought this one for like, I don't know, $30, you would have the exact fucking game. They didn't even fix the bugs. It's the exact same fucking game, which is crazy. It's nuts. Again, it's a game that came out for the GameCube. Or I don't know, maybe the first Xbox. I don't know, but it's old.
Original Xbox and PS2.
Yeah, you didn't even make it run a little better. You didn't fix the bugs. You didn't do it. It's the exact same fucking game. Dude, this is how little you care.
It's not false advertising. We wanted the original Star Wars Battlefront. We fucking got it.
Yeah. So it's been all over the place where they just don't know what the fuck they're doing. They keep fucking it up, and it's because they don't care. Right? They don't care about Han, Luke, and Leia the way we do. They don't care about Obi-Wan. They don't care about the kid. They don't care about us. They just care about, you know, we're going to use the activists care about using it as a skin suit, you know, to spread their freaking agenda or whatever. The other people is like, yeah, we'll just make money. We'll just put Star Wars on it, and these idiots will give us money. You know, they'll just start, because they're obviously stupid enough to buy the same fucking game all over, and and they're too stupid to realize it. Or they're too stupid to know that what we're giving them is shit. They'll just eat it because they're dumb. And you know what? They don't deserve their money because fuck them. We hate them anyway. And you know what? If they leave, good, because we want all the cool fans. We got all the good fans. But guess what? Just like in South Park, you know, when the mayor was like, we need to bring all the hippies. It'll bring a tourist, blah, blah, it'll bring us a lot of money. Hippies don't have money. All right? Hippies don't have any money. You're not going to get anything from them. They don't care about the franchise. They want to own it because they want the power. That's all they want. They don't care about Star Wars doing well. They don't care about the fans being happy. They won't buy your shit. They just want to take it over and claim like, look at another thing we got. This is another skin suit that we have on the fucking wall. Jesus Christ. And again, this is the money people when they take over because they think they're going to make more money, but turns out they don't know what the fuck they're doing because they don't care. Anyway.
Also, apparently they're making a new show. I forget the name. I already closed it. I don't care.
Dude, they're making supposedly they were making another movie, but that one got canceled as well because the director, first off, I think she'd only make documentaries before, which is do not. By the way, people who make documentaries are kind of by definition activists. Do not hire activists ever. They care more about their cause than they care about your product. They care more about their cause. They care about your company, your IP, anything. All right. They don't give a fuck about anything other than their cause. First off. Second, documentary directors are directing a documentary, completely different animal than directing a fantasy movie in a sci-fi setting. Completely different, right? Two different sets of skills. It's like, I don't know, hiring let's say, a sushi chef to make you a pizza, right? Maybe he could. It's probably not gonna be a great pizza, because you know it's different sets of skills. And you
like hiring a bass player to play guitar.
Sure, I'd go a little bit wilder.
You're hiring a bass player to
play your drums.
Fuck your mother.
Of course, because they've never had sex. Nobody ever wants
Nobody fucks the bass player.
Nobody ever. Jesus Christ. 100% of Disney staff is activists already. Yeah, and you know what? The only thing we can do is not give them money. That's it. That's all. If that's what you want, fine. If you're killing the things that I love, fine. And they've killed them bad, by the way. I was reading an article the other day, but basically Disney has not recovered the money that they've spent for Star Wars with the movies. Now, I don't know with the shows, I don't know with everything else, but basically they haven't recovered them. Maybe with merchandise, maybe, but they spent a lot of money they've invested, you know, with the parks, the merch. They've invested a bunch of money in it, and from what I've read, they haven't made the money back. So they found a way to make a multi-billion-dollar IP not profitable. And it's all because they're fucking morons. And again, because they've insulted the fan base. They've not cared about what the hell you would respect or even want. Again, what the infuriating part is that all you had to do was read the fucking books that Timothy Zahn wrote and follow that story. That's it. If you want to change a little bit, fine. But you couldn't help yourself. You couldn't help your fucking selves. You had to insert Rey in there, and you had to make her a fucking Mary Sue. You could have made her an actual interesting character, you know, with flaws and conflicts and, you know, and different stuff. But no, you had to make her a fucking Mary Sue. You had to add a whole bunch of ridiculous magic coven shit and things that don't make any sense. You had to one-up the story of Anakin Skywalker, who is the centerpiece of the Star Wars franchise, okay? Without Darth Vader, you got nothing, all right? You got nothing. I've said it a billion times. Villains make the stories for heroes, all right? Luke Skywalker, if he had to fight a space chicken, would not be as iconic as him having to face off against Vader, all right? Two completely different levels of bad, and one is actually cool to watch, the other one isn't. The villain makes the hero. And you got probably the most iconic villain in the history of IPs. And you just shat on him, all right? You shat on his backstory. And you know what I heard the freaking producer of The Acolyte said the other day? She was like, George Lucas is not the end-all, be-all of Star Wars. Are you kidding me?
Well, to be fair, I do have to kind of agree with that statement. Most of the cool stuff in Star Wars was not made by George Lucas.
It was made during his time.
No, but I mean the books, the comic,
with
the video games,
his blessing, all that stuff. He still had, like, for example, Republic Commando. One of my favorite video games of all time. Phenomenal.
The thing that they always say with the freaking only Jedi can use lightsabers because they have the Force. Only freaking the fighting styles. You know, there's the 7 forms of the lightsaber things and all that. None of this was in the movies.
No. Yeah.
This was all made up by the fans. That's the funny thing. Most of the fun things have been made up by the fans.
Maybe. But, you know, it would not exist without him. So maybe show a little respect to the guy. Maybe. Before, you know, you shat on all his work. Pretending like, oh, yeah. You know, Star Wars would have just existed without him. So it's bullshit.
No, he was a madman, but a goddamn creative one. I got to give him that.
Anyway, so that's kind of all the negative stuff. And all the Disney stuff. Which is annoying. But I think we can... This is Awake. And we can talk about, you know, the good stuff. So let's, you know, talk a little bit about the good stuff. For example, the good things that the franchise has brought to us. And I got one right on screen right now. Republic Commando.
The prequels.
You know what? Prequels are not that bad. Especially after watching the sequels.
I wasn't being ironic.
Especially after watching the sequels, the prequels are not that bad. I'm going to defend them. All right? Do yourself a favor. And anybody who watches the prequels, do yourself a favor. Watch them. Because the worst one, obviously, is the Phantom Menace, right? Now, the Phantom Menace has 2 redeeming things. One is the song, The Duel of the Fates.
Basically anything involving Darth Maul.
Exactly. And the lightsaber duel with Darth Maul, which is, if it would have been edited, just that fight, I'd say straight up, it's the best lightsaber fight in the entire franchise. Since it's cut in between the battle, you know, and the stars and all that stuff against the droid army, blah, blah, it loses the pacing, but that fight by itself, that choreography is insane. Number 2 would be, you know, the duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin, in my humble opinion. But I could be wrong. The point is, the Force Awakens, the Phantom Menace does actually have good things in it. Now, if
Well,
you
I
do
will say,
no, but let me just finish this.
Okay.
So the thing that people hate the most, maybe rightly so, is Jar Jar Binks. So do yourself a favor and watch the prequels thinking that Jar Jar Binks is an agent of Sidious. So he's kind of like a drunk foo guy. You know, he looks like a total incompetent idiot, but he's actually quite capable. And all the things that Jar Jar Binks does actually helps Palpatine, right? You know, bringing the Gungan army there, or taking the Jedi to where the Gungans are, starting the convincing Padme to do the vote of confidence on Chancellor Valorum, all that stuff. It makes sense. Like, you could tell that maybe George was considering that and then backed off because everybody hated freaking Jar Jar. But, and again, in the fights, even, he comes out alive in the fights. He's a total bumbling idiot, but he comes out alive somehow. So it's one of those things that, just look at it that way, it'll make it a little bit more palatable. And I mean, Clone Wars is actually introduced, you know, the Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, and the Clone Wars is phenomenal.
The only reason people give a shit about Ahsoka.
Exactly. It's the only war part about Star Wars. Because, again, the Clone Wars are phenomenal, and it's got us a bunch of awesome video games. Again, I'll go back to this one. Republic freaking Commando. Do yourself a favor. Play that game. They made it for the Switch. It's on PC. It's phenomenal. It's probably the best AI I've played with. You can actually make very specific commands to your squad. It's one of the best first-person shooters I've played. And again, it's old now, but it's great. And it gets you really into... the story is actually pretty good. And it makes you care kind of about the clones a little bit more. You got the Clone Wars series, all that stuff. And then, you know, Revenge of the Sith. It's not perfect. It's got a bunch of flaws and a bunch of things that could have been different. Particularly like, hey, you know, why didn't just Anakin...
Sorry, I stopped listening when you said it's not perfect.
Okay, fine. I mean, the biggest thing probably for Revenge of the Sith is, why didn't Anakin just quit? Right? It's like, oh, they'll never let us be together. It's like, well, you know, you could quit. It's a job. You could just like not be a Jedi. We saw
Can
Dooku.
you quit the Jedi?
Dooku did.
Well, but he had to go dark side.
No, he didn't. He just quit. He became, you know, a count. And so,
What did he count?
I don't know, but he counted
Did he
something.
have a county?
Maybe. I don't know.
Was
but
he
it's
an accountant?
It's one of those things that's like, why don't you just quit? I mean, I'm pretty sure your hot senator wife makes more than enough money, so why don't you just quit?
Well, it's a religion, and you know the Jedi, they're kind of cultish.
You know what? Just run away. Fuck it.
There's no space in space.
There's not enough space in space.
Where are they gonna go?
I don't know. Fake your own death or something. Whatever.
Well, to be fair, they can probably find him with Jedi, with like Force, you know, telepathy.
Maybe.
He's very Force, you know. He's like a Force beacon, right?
Sure. But anyway, the point is, it's not terrible. All right. Even if you're like, oh, well, they're not as good as the originals. Sure. But I can tell you one thing. Those movies were made with love, right? It's not always perfect. Sometimes you're blinded by love. But they were made with love. And they're super memeable. And so especially now, a few years in the future, looking back.
Also, Revenge is... It's just better than New Hope and at least Return.
That's, you know what?
You can argue Empire's the best, and you know, it's I would not disagree with it.
You know what's funny?
Right next to Revenge.
I've talked about this several times. You know, what's the best order to watch Star Wars? And if you watch the prequels first, then you kind of can't watch the originals because it looks old. The technology looks old, it looks outdated. That fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan is painful to watch. You know, Star Wars didn't age particularly well. So the best way, in my humble opinion,
there are some fan edits.
Dude, those are epic.
That actually make it cool.
Those are epic, yes. But in my humble opinion, the best way to actually watch Star Wars is you start with A New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back. You know, you got the big reveal, and then you go back to The Phantom Menace because now you want to see the story of Anakin Skywalker. Finish up the 3 prequels, then move on to the Return of the Jedi. Does that make sense?
I would just watch them in release order personally, but
Sure. Yeah, that's not a bad way.
That's an option.
That's not a bad way.
Would you watch? Would you watch Rogue One in between?
Sure.
Didn't think about that, huh?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Rogue One is actually a complication because you don't know where to put it. But sure, why not?
You know, you want to know a fun fact about Return of the Jedi that I learned the other day?
What?
The word Ewok was never mentioned.
Really?
Yeah.
They
They called them Ewoks.
It's one of those things, like, for example, well, they probably made toys, and that's why they had the names.
No, it's because in the credits.
It says Ewok.
Yeah, but they never say it in the movie.
Yeah, it's like with Lord of the Rings that, Legolas doesn't speak more than 3 words to Frodo in the entire movie, in the entire trilogy.
Yeah, that some characters never actually talk to each other.
Yeah. I think the only time
who doesn't have those friend groups, where some guys just don't click.
I think there's 2 times where he speaks to him, and it's like, and my bow, and when they're in Moria, where when they're being attacked by the Balrog, and he tells them jump. I think those are the only times.
Well, you remember at the end of the Return of the King where the guys are coming into the room when Frodo's like in the bed, and he's like, "Oh my God, Aragorn! Oh my God, Gandalf!" And then Legolas comes in, and he's like, "Oh,
oh you!" It would have been great.
Oh,
it would have been great.
you.
Like, hey, where's Boromir? Oh no, wait, he does know that he was killed. I forgot. Faramir told him.
Faramir, yeah.
Damn it!
Faramir.
Damn. That would have been great. Anyway, point is, what we've been talking about.
Well, let's not talk about a good IP.
Okay, so the good things. Well, they're trying to kill it. They're trying. There's actually like an animated movie that's being made by Warner of Helm Hammerhand that looks pretty interesting, but we'll see. Because Amazon's just doing garbage. Again, they made me give up on the show. All right, that's the thing that's crazy. Me, I'm their target audience for most of these things. I'm the target audience for the Halo show because again, I played all the Halo games. I read some of the books. I'm a big fan of I listen to the fucking Halo podcast. Jesus Christ. All right.
Plus, you buy everything.
I buy everything. I have a problem, right? I'm again target audience for Star Wars, target audience for Lord of the Rings. I'm big into the IPs. I read sometimes fanfics and all this stuff, and they lost me, right? They lost me. That's how fucking terrible they are, right? I could defend. Listen, I usually rip to shreds certain things. And it's because I love them, it's good, and I expect them to be better. And if they're not, up to par, I'm gonna complain about it. It's because I love them, right? As I care. And still, I would watch it. Just
real quick, Chuck Dominguez. Yes, there's a Halo podcast, and it's fucking awesome.
It's The Hunt for Master Chief. It's probably the greatest podcast I've ever heard. It's the Hunt for Truth. The Hunt for Truth. I think it's between. Is it Halo 3 and Halo 4? I don't know, but basically,
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe it's between Halo 3 and Halo 4, and it's about it's a fictional podcast, and it's about a reporter that got hired to do an op-ed on Master Chief. It's phenomenal. I believe is it Keegan-Michael Key or Peele? It's the bald guy.
Peele, I think.
Jordan Peele? No, Jordan Peele, I think he's the director now. No, I think it's Keegan-Michael Key. I don't know.
It's not the Lorecast. I'm trying to find the actual podcast.
Okay, let's see. Bad Batch was okay. Masked Man 2, thanks for joining us. He was the chosen one, though. I recently watched the first one in the theater. It was a good watch. Well, listen. Is it your first time watching it, or were you just rewatching it? Because I can rewatch it now, and I'm going to feel, all the nostalgia stuff, and I'll be like, oh, all these beautiful things, all these characters that I love, I'm seeing them again. I'm hanging out with my buddies and all this stuff. That's great. It's objectively, you can't say it aged as well, right? Again, just compare the fight between Obi-Wan and Vader on episode 4 and the one between Luke and Vader in episode 5, and you can clearly see there's a big gap between the two. Anyway,
honestly, Luke and Vader's not bad.
hey, the Halo series have good fight scenes. Listen, I saw the first couple of episodes of the Halo series. Cardinal sin number 1, they showed Master Chief's face on like episode 1 at the end of it, which is stupid. Cardinal sin number 2.
Yeah, how did Mandalorian do a better job at that?
Dude, they also fucked up with the Mandalorian. All right, this drives me
yeah,
nuts.
but that didn't feel like
This
a cardinal
drives
sin.
me up the fucking wall. All right, I'll back with Halo. All right, so in the Mandalorian, what they did is for the entire first season, no show in the face. Season 2, the second to last episode of the season, the one with Bill Burr, the Mando shows his face. All right, they show it because of stupidity. All right, it's a stupid, dumb fucking reason, but he shows his face. And Bill Burr's like, yeah, you know, we'll just we'll pretend we didn't see anything. All right, okay, good, all right. And then in the season finale, that's when Luke shows up and is like, hey, yeah, I'm taking Grogu with me. And that's when he takes off his helmet voluntarily. It's like, dude, you took off all the meaning of that fucking scene. You just took it away. All the significance of him showing his face. The first time he shows his face in the entire fucking show, and it's to say goodbye to the kid that he loves. All right? He didn't do it to save his own life on the previous episode, even though they were almost forcing him to do it. But he did it then, and now you took away all the significance of it. It's stupid. It's stupid. But again, it wasn't, you know, it was more the previous episode that ruined it. But whatever. Halo Hunt the Truth, is that the name? Cool. It was a rewatch. Yeah, so it was probably the nostalgia stuff. And again, I don't mind the nostalgia stuff because you kind of have it in the context of your head. Like, okay, I'm watching all these things that I loved back then. But for example, watch the first Alien movie and compare it to Star Wars. And you'll be like, oh crap, okay, so these effects actually aged pretty well. All right, this actually feels like it could have been made almost recently in many ways. So that's what I'm talking about, that didn't age as well. Some of the things do look kind of crappy now, 40 years in the future, right? But we're not judging it 40 years in the future. We're talking but we're judging it as the effects of back then. But when you're talking about introducing somebody new to this franchise who's used to all the modern effects, it's hard for them to actually keep up with it. So I would not start with episode 1 because it's got all the fancy effects and all the fancy fights. You need to start with episode 4 so that they can kind of not be disappointed when they get there, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I could feel that. That being said, the reimagined Vader Obi-Wan fight does make it kind of... Yeah. It's kind of... Have you seen... There's an edit of The Godfather, the first 2 movies, but in chronological order. So it actually starts with Vito
young
scenes
Vito
from Godfather 2.
That sounds awesome.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It's like it's probably like 7 hours long or something. Because they include all the deleted scenes.
I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna try to find it. Let me know if you find it. Okay, so the Halo series. I've heard from because again I didn't continue watching after episode 2 because for some reason in episode 2 Master Chief, first off, they introduced a character that nobody really cares about or liked. She was very annoying. And in episode 2, Master Chief goes to an asteroid community to kind of hang out there. I don't even remember anymore. I just remember thinking like, what the fuck am I watching? Why is this Guardians of the Galaxy now? Like, what the fuck is this? It's stupid. About the fight specifically, a friend of mine told me, like, dude, you gotta watch, you know, because the fight in the first episode's epic, but the fight on, I think, let's just say episode 7, is one of the best things I've ever seen on film. And then, like, you could tell they ran out of the budget because the final episode, it's total garbage, and it kind of looks like crappy effects on this stuff because they spent all the budget on the other fight, so it's worth it. And so I was like, all right, I watched episode 1, and that fight annoyed the fuck out of me. I hated it. It really bugged me. And I can tell you why. It's because imagine that the humans have a base that has like a structure, like a tower in the middle and a wall surrounding it. So like a ring wall and a tower in the middle. Does that make sense? Can you visualize it?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine like almost like Saruman's tower, right? Not that big, kind of crappy tower, but walls. And so what the humans did as they're being attacked by the Covenant is they all retreat from the walls. They go kind of put their backs to the structure and they're aiming up at the walls. And I'm just like, nobody who's ever been in a firefight was consulted about this fucking scene. And I mean, nobody. Because what's rule number one when you're fighting in a structure that has walls, Eric?
Stand in front of it?
You use the walls to protect yourself!
No.
It gives you an advantage! You've got the high
No.
ground, and you've also got something protecting you from their bullets! It's...
No. I saw Game of Thrones. They won that fight, therefore it's the right strategy.
Anyway, so they did that. And then they did other stuff where it's like, okay, so the Covenant are coming, and you see humans just emptying out fucking clips on the elites and not doing nothing. And so the Spartans show up, and, you know, the Spartans start kicking ass and taking names, but the Spartans using the exact same fucking guns, now the bullets are actually causing some damage. And it's like, dude, why? I get that you want to build up the Spartans, but why don't you, make it logical? So the humans are actually trying to kind of hold their own, but they can't. So the Spartans come in and they can do even more extraordinary stuff with the same weaponry. That would have made sense. And so I saw that. It annoyed me. And I was like, you know what? If one of the fights that was supposed to be like one of the coolest did not impress, and I already think the story's stupid, and the character already annoyed me, and you clearly do not respect the IP because you took the main character's helmet off, why am I here? I'm bored. What am I doing? And the next good fight, the one next good reason to be here is until episode 6, 7. Why? So they lost me. They keep losing me. And I'm not an easy person to lose. I'm a completionist, all right? I like finishing what I start, even if it's crappy. I've seen so much crap in my life just because I started it. And I'm at the point where IPs that I loved, beloved IPs, I've given up on them, all right? Lord of the Rings, Halo, Star Wars. They made me give up on that. It's crazy. Like, 13-year-old Dario would be ripping his hair out if he heard me right now. He'd be like, that's impossible. Ah! Like, how? Again, because you keep, they don't give a fuck about us as fans. They just don't. They just want your money. And if they made high quality products, I would give them money. They don't, they're not getting a cent from me anymore. So to me, Star Wars is dead. We're mourning it. It's a sad day. It's a sad day for humanity. But it is what it is.
I still have a little bit of faith that Lord of the Rings can be salvaged, just because.
Well, they fired.
Aside from Rings of Power, which has been not good, the video games are still good.
Well, they fired the guys who, the team who produced the first season. So maybe there's a chance for season 2. But I mean, what really has come out of Lord of the Rings recently that's good?
I like the Shadow Mordor games they're pretty cool.
All right, those are fun. Yeah, they came out like almost a decade ago.
I like the RPGs. You remember Third Age? That was a fun game.
Third Age was fun. I'll give you that. Yes.
And the Lego games. I like the Lego games.
I have not played the Lego games. No.
This also ties into Star Wars. The Star Wars Lego games, phenomenal.
Really?
I mean, they're Lego games. They're not, they're all the same fucking game, but they're a good time.
All right, fair enough. So,
freaking Luke Skywalker losing his hand, but it's just the Lego hand. It's funny.
All right, fair enough. All right, so what could be the conclusion here? Like, let's just say, leave in the comments. What's your favorite Halo Star Wars product? I mean, if you could only have one thing, and by one thing I mean one movie, one video game, one book, one, I don't know, song. Songs, that's a little bit more complicated. But yeah, if you could only have one, what do you think is the best one to have? Like, if you could only play with one, watch one, something rest of your life. I know most of you are probably going to be like, man, Empire Strikes Back, oof. But it's not conclusive. It's open-ended. It kind of leaves you wanting more, which, you know, like a good sequel would. Rogue One's an interesting machine films. The machine films, comment Rogue One would be interesting because it is kind of a standalone. But
Although it does kind of need previous context.
and also it's not Star Wars. I mean, it is, but again,
I agree, Gus. That Vader scene in Rogue One was the best Vader scene.
yes, it's the best. It's the best Vader scene overall. So
Also, we need more Vader-centric shows where it just shows him being an absolute menace, like in the comics.
yeah, like the hunt of the
like
Jedis and stuff.
Where it's like, the only thing I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men.
That is one of the greatest Vader quotes of all time.
Like, bruh,
Bruh.
I died.
So yeah, again, because Rogue One is sci-fi, right? It's
No,
If there's-
nothing in Star Wars is sci-fi.
listen. If there's any Star Wars movie that deserves the title of Star Wars, would be that one, or
Oh, yeah.
maybe one of the either Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith, because those are actual war movies.
Revenge, I think, had the most war, because Attack of the Clones was the beginning of the clone.
Yeah,
the Clone Wars.
the attack. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get that, you know, and there is war in all the other ones, like in New Hope and all that stuff, but it just doesn't feel like a war film, right? It feels kind of like a Luke adventure, like the adventures of these three dudes. Not so
Feels
much.
more like Star Battles.
Sure. Yes. Not. The thing that Andor does really well and Rogue One does really well is it actually brings you into the larger context of the war. Like, have you watched Andor?
No, I heard it was good, though.
Dude, Andor is phenomenal. Like, one of my favorite characters in the entire Star Wars franchise is in there. Freaking, what's his name? Skarsgård. Stellan Skarsgård.
Sure.
You don't remember him?
What is it? What's his character?
You don't know him. I think they created him for the show. But he's basically one of the...
I haven't seen the show.
But he's one of the dudes who's basically trying to gather funds for the rebellion. And, you know, pretty much risking everything for it, right? Because if, you know, it's kind of treason what he's doing. And so
Right.
he's not objectively good or evil, but he's willing to do what needs to be done for it. And so I don't know. To me, I thought he was doing a phenomenal character. Diego Luna, his character Andor, is kind of there. He's the guy who takes you to different places, but I didn't particularly care for him one way or the other. Same as in Rogue One. But Stellan Skarsgård, his character, he's phenomenal. Phenomenal. And even there, Disney couldn't help themselves. They had to add like a lesbian couple thing stuff. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know why they think it's a good idea to keep adding all this stuff. It's stupid. People don't like it, and they keep their kids away from it. So it's like they want to lose money.
If there's something I've learned by reading comics recently, is that writers will inevitably add their fetishes to everything.
Listen,
It's like
no.
It's like right now,
No.
right now, Captain America, he has a mommy kink.
No. Listen.
Yeah,
No, I agree with you, but
it's inevitable.
But here's the issue. Nobody appreciates lesbians more than men, right? With one particular caveat. Hot ones.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Yeah, we'd be like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, throw some more in there. It's cool. The problem is that when they're annoying in the way that it's kind of too in your face, and the man-hater ones. That's the issue, because I don't know if you know this, but I identify as a man. And so if you kind of hate me right off the bat, I'm like, fuck you. I hate you too.
Negatively predisposed to you now.
Yeah, I am automatically not into you.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned the being annoying thing, I saw, you know how on YouTube there's like these little polls that you can have, like community polls?
Mm-hmm.
There was this random poll that said, which Breaking Bad character do you hate the most? And it had Gus Fring, evil guy, mafia lord, whatever.
Sure.
It had
Skyler.
basically the two neo Nazis, the Todd and the other guy, Uncle Jack, and it has Skyler, who won
Skyler. 100%.
by a fucking landslide. And people are saying like, dude, there's like neo Nazis on this poll and actual like fucking like criminals and murderers and whatnot. And one comment said it perfectly. It's like, their crimes are fictional, but my annoyance was not.
Yes. Yes. Amen. That's the easiest way to explain it. Because again, we know what we're watching is not real. We know it. And sometimes, some actors
I'm
do
watching The
such...
Sopranos. Tony Soprano's an evil guy. I fucking love him.
Yeah. And I would never hang out with him, though. Not in real life.
Not in real. If he was a real character in real life, I'd be like, no, put this fucker away. What the hell?
Yeah.
But it's a fictional show, so I enjoy it.
Skyler.
I'm annoyed at his annoying ass fucking little kid who's a little prick.
Yeah. Skyler. I don't want to hang out with her in real life or in the show. That's a big difference. Big difference.
She shows up, the show gets more annoying.
It does. And I was going to say something, but you distracted me. We're talking about Tony Soprano before that. Crimes.
Being annoyed by characters. Lesbians.
No, it's not that.
Annoying lesbians.
I generally don't have an issue with lesbians. I like lesbians fine. I have a few lesbian friends. We get along well, but they're not man haters. Because again, because I know a lot of straight girls who are man haters who are annoying too. The issue is the man hating. Because again, fuck you. I didn't do anything to you. What do you hate me? I didn't do anything. I'm just standing here. And so
yeah, that I kind of get. Well, it's the same idea as like the racist people, right? Which
Sure.
is like, I hate you for being part of this category, and it's like, but I didn't do nothing.
Yeah. So now I automatically
What are
hate
you
you.
hating me?
Yeah. I'm just
You hate
standing
me
here.
for being a man.
Yeah.
I
So-
didn't choose that.
So again, this goes back to the whole insulting your fans. You're insulting your fans just by when you generalize in that type of way, it's a bad idea. Things do not go well. It's a problem. People don't like it. And we are not forced to give you our money. And right now the economy sucks. So we kind of looking at places where we're not going to spend money. And guess what? We're not spending money on Disney shit. You're not getting my money. And also, you know what? You kind of created a model where you kind of screwed yourself over. So Disney created Disney Plus, and it wasn't renting out its properties to other streaming services. So let's say, like, you sometimes find things on HBO Max and on Netflix. Disney was like, no, everything's going to be under our one umbrella. So you stop making money from stuff. You're hoping that people sign up for Disney Plus, but what if, you start insulting parents like Chris Evans did when he did the Lightyear movie? That's kind of gonna make your movie bomb. What if you start insulting, people, calling them racist when they think, hey, you know what? Maybe don't make the Little Mermaid black. Maybe find a redheaded white girl. And
Or just make new characters.
well, that's
That's
actually
my annoyance. That's my main annoyance. Where it's like, I don't understand who this is for, because if I was a black person, I would be really annoyed at the fact that writers just straight up refuse to make new black characters and just replace beloved characters.
Chuck Dominguez. The only reason women hate me is because I'm married and they can't have me. Listen,
Nice.
I'm pretty sure that nobody hates me. No other woman hates me more than my girl, because I annoy no other woman as much as I annoy her. Pretty sure. And I find it hysterical. And, and I don't care. No, it's a...
Amen.
God, it's just... I've been thinking long and hard about how can we fix this. Because Star Wars, $1 billion IP, they managed to beat it to the ground. They don't care. They just do not care. They just destroy, right? And they're like, it doesn't matter to them destroying Star Wars because A, it's not their money. It's Disney's money. They're getting their paycheck. So maybe if you start linking their pay to results, you'd start getting better results. I don't know.
That sounds like merit.
Yeah. Let's see. Only way to fix it is to take all the political crap out. No.
That doesn't seem like an option.
No. The issue is not the political crap. Because I can't say that Star Wars is political. I could say that the people who created Star Wars and all that stuff are political, but you don't see that reflected on the product on screen. And so it's not annoying that way. The issue is that they don't care that what they're putting out is shit. Right? And they think, I don't know if these people have too big of an opinion of themselves. They think their ego is so huge. I don't know if they don't have an adult in the room making sure that they don't make dumbass decisions creatively. Like, for example, putting out a fire in space. Like, I talked about this with Game of Thrones, right? And this is why it's hard for me to tolerate certain mistakes in film. Because a lot of people are like, well, that doesn't really matter. It's a little thing. They probably didn't notice. Like, no, there's a process to these things. And I'll try to do it as quickly as I can, really quickly. So there's a scene where Sansa and where two characters are running away in the snow and they're being chased by hunting dogs. And eventually they find them, right? And so there's the female character Sansa has a dog barking in her face, and three dudes, they're gonna take him prisoner. And all of a sudden, Brienne of Tarth and Podrick Payne show up. So just two, let's call them knights, or a knight and a squire, and they start fighting the other guys, and they take and they defeat the guys, and they take Sansa and Theon, and they save them. And all the fucking time, I'm just sitting there thinking, what happened to the dogs? What happened to these people-eating dogs? Because they were raised by Ramsay Bolton. They hunt people. They're not the nicest dog ever. And so here's a situation where if you let the dog go, they kill the girl who's right in front of them, right? Or they would maybe defend you against the knight. And I don't know if you know this, it's kind of difficult to fight dogs, especially three of them. And so I just kept thinking, like, what happened to the dogs? And people are telling me, like, well, they probably got lost in the editing, or it doesn't really matter. The dogs would have run away, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I don't accept that, because I know how the process works. So in the process, there's a writer, and the writer writes this scene, and he's like, all right, so the dogs are in their face, and then all of a sudden Brienne shows up, and they beat these guys and they save the girl. And so this writer has to show it to somebody. Let's say he shows it to the director of the episode, to the producer, or both. And that means that neither the director and the producer asked them, like, hey, what happened to the dogs? Right? They missed it. They don't think about the dogs. But so they have to send it over to, I don't know, let's say another kind of producer, the one that's like bring everything together, because you need to hire these extras. You need to, if there's going to be dogs in the scene, you need to have like an animal trainer there. You have to have somebody who choreographs this entire scene. There's an editor then afterwards has to put all the things together, blah, blah. There's a whole bunch of people in between. There's a continuity person on the set, making sure that you don't miss any of the stuff. And so there's a whole bunch of, I'm skipping a whole bunch of stuff just to make this faster. There's a whole bunch of people there, and not a single one of them thought, hey, what happened to the dogs? The dogs that were right there when we were shooting, and all, the ones that we had to pay to bring in, the special dogs that barked a lot that you liked for this. And, I'm the choreographer. I need to, hey, what are we doing with the dogs in this scene? Oh, not, they just stand there. They run. What? They don't do anything. They don't fight. All right. Nobody noticed. None of these people, even the person who's specifically their job to make sure that they don't miss that, or what's more likely, that, or that the author wrote it, the director, the producer read it, and they were like, they noticed, like, you know what, fuck it. The fans are too stupid to notice, right? Like, these people, they're too stupid to notice. They're too stupid to notice that there's a fire in space, right? They're too stupid. They're too stupid to, and you know what? I have a limit to how many too stupid to get it you can give me.
I don't necessarily. I think that at that point you're getting you're attributing a bit too much malice to where it's probably incompetence.
No, it's not malice.
And not and not incompetence in the sense of well, the writers and all these people, they just didn't notice it was an accident. Most likely, I would say they probably didn't say, oh, well, the people are too stupid to notice. They probably would have said something like, I mean, it's a small thing, who cares, right? Which to me is actually worse, because that actually shows you don't really care about making a quality product.
Yes, but to me, it's more what it's reflective of. It's a disdain. They have a disdain for us. They don't. They think that we're just, sheep. That we're just gonna eat whatever freaking vomit they throw at us. It's a disdain. They own us. We should be thankful that they're spitting in our faces. They deserve our money just because they're them. They're so smart. They're so great. If we don't get it, it's because we're too stupid. We're too misogynistic. We don't understand what the fuck is going on. And we don't understand their fucking greatness. It's a disdain that they have for the customer, for the fan, the people who know these things better than they do, right? In most cases. Because I'm pretty sure that when you hire a documentarian to make a Star Wars movie and she's never fucking seen Star Wars, I know more than her. All right? So, the issue is the disdain. And I
think the issue is that they just take the fan bases for granted.
Sure. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I mean, this is a kind of a glaring detail, but I mean, the fans are the hardcores. They're just gonna, forgive us for any little issues. Or in the case of Star Wars, the fans will take all the issues and they'll just make it canon as some type of lore.
But you know what? It was a different regime. Like, you didn't feel disdain from George Lucas. George Lucas was like,
oh no, I legitimately thought George Lucas was kind of dumb.
Okay, but George Lucas was like,
in like a fun way.
But
where
George,
he's like a DM in Dungeons and Dragons, who's like, he's got all these crazy ideas. And you're like, oh shit, this ride he's taking me on is wild. And then you go back, but you're like, wait, but how did this happen? Like, this doesn't connect to this that well. And he's like, he's just a fucking madman. So you kind of forgive that.
Yeah, and also he kind of appreciated the fans, right? He was like, oh, if certain things sounded cool, it's like, all right, let's do it. If
he thought kids were gonna like Jar Jar.
Yeah, and he actually made things out of love. He actually put effort into it. It wasn't always great because he wasn't a phenomenal filmmaker on his own, but he hired good people for other stuff. And let's see, Chuck the Mingus, I agree. They just don't care. That's why I don't really agree with the writers' protest. Not all deserve a high pay. They have not earned it. They have to earn it. Yeah, dude.
I just found it really ironic when all of a sudden those people started complaining that their jobs were getting automated.
Dude, it's hysterical. Honestly. Like, it sucks because it hurt me personally. And I lost a job that I loved. But fuck them. Fuck them. They deserve it. They deserve all the shit that they get. Right? And it's one of those things where I'm never going to forget this. I'm never going to forget what you did to my franchises. I'm not trusting you with anything. Like, there's not a single thing that you do in the future that I'm just going to blindly just, all right, I'll go watch it. Especially because I don't have to. Like, with Disney and all that stuff, dude, I know it's going to be on Disney Plus eventually, and I get Disney Plus for free. So,
and not just that, it's even with the Marvel stuff, with the recent kind of Marvel is kind of whatever right now, and Star Wars is kind of a mess.
The MCU?
But the thing is that there's so much content out there that when the next, I don't know, Avengers movie comes out, I'm gonna be thinking, I've missed out on so many of the freaking shows and so many of the side content that they've put out that I don't even feel like I'm up to date. Like, I'm not even gonna be that excited about going to see the next whatever.
I think Deadpool's on
Doctor Strange movie or whatever. If I'm like, oh, I'm kind of behind on, didn't see the last 10 movies.
You know what's crazy? And I mean, legitimately insane. I heard in the grapevine, actually I read some articles, that the reason, you know why Disney bought Star Wars and Marvel? The
To
reason
make
why, not just to make money. The reason why they targeted those franchises or those brands in particular, those IPs, is because Disney realized that they do not have, like, they have a boy problem. Like, they didn't have enough IP for boys. Like, originally, looking back in the day, they created, the B team of animators created The Lion King, and the A team created Pocahontas, because they thought that Pocahontas would be the bigger deal because they're a girl brand. They're more of a girl brand. And so because they have, the princess line, they don't have a prince line, they don't have a hero line. And so they bought Star Wars and Marvel to kind of get more boy content, because Hercules was very successful, Tarzan was very successful, Aladdin was very successful. Again, but again, you don't have the princess brand with those guys, right?
You have the Disney princesses, not the Disney princess.
You can't market it the same way. And so they were like, okay, these are franchises that are beloved by boys, and it'll bring us in a buttload of money, because boys spend more money on stupid shit than girls do. Now, girls buy more normal products.
Well,
they buy
that's very debatable.
No, they buy more normal products. But do you see girls buying figurines?
Oh no, in terms of like the hobbyist things, yeah, it's more boys.
Yeah, all right, that's more of a boy thing. We spend our money on that dumb shit. And so they're like, all right, we'll bring in boys. We'll get Star Wars. We'll get Marvel, and the first phase of the MCU, which is directed at boys, phenomenal, right? It's working out. It's going great. Star Wars, they went a different direction because of Kathleen Kennedy.
Not to mention, it was clearly made with heart.
Yeah, and because it
And
was
a plan.
Yeah, they had a plan, and the person in charge of it, Kevin Feige, kind of knew what he was doing. On the other hand, Kathleen Kennedy clearly had an agenda of getting girls in there, right? He wanted to make Star Wars a girl thing. He wanted to make the girl boss there. Why? I don't know. And just to understand,
But to give the devil his due,
they did make billions of dollars.
I don't mind making Star Wars more appealing to girls. I just don't think it happened really.
Well, here's the thing. The way that I kind of look at it. First, you need to cement your audience, right? Which is kind of what they did with the MCU. First, our target audience is boys. Let's get boys in there, right? And so we showed them that, hey, you can trust me with Iron Man. You can kind of trust me with Captain America. We're trying to do all these stuff, and you're like, okay, all right.
You can't trust me with Thor, but who cares?
Yeah, but what happened with Thor is that, and with Captain America, it started to bring girls in because you got a ripped, good-looking guy there. Now,
these are facts.
Every single MCU movie that my girl has seen, she's gone into the movie theater not because she gives a fuck about Thor or Ragnarok or Asgard or anything. She wants to go see freaking Thor, right? She wants to go see Cream Hemsworth.
What'd you think of Fat Thor?
I don't know. I didn't ask her. I didn't want to break her heart. Yeah, and so that's why they go in there. All right, boys and girls go to the movie theaters for different reasons when you're going to watch superhero movies, right? And I've said this a million times before. I do not care that Thor's ripped. I do not care the unrealistic body standards of Superman and all the toys and all the, how all the characters are ripped, because I'm like, this is cool. This character's cool. I am Batman now. I can project that way. Women look at it differently. You can't have a freaking a Gal Gadot up there, a super hot female, because they're like, well, that's not realistic. That's not how women's bodies look. Like, that's how her body looks. It's right there. I can see it. And so
also, she's not nearly as ripped as she's like regular goes to the gym 3 times a week fit.
Hey, well, she was in the military, bro. Anyway, the point here being is that
standards in the military have gone down.
Is that when you put a Gal Gadot in there, guys are interested for the same reason the chicks are interested in the Chris Hemsworth. However, if you put Gal Gadot is actually a bad example, but whatever. When you put a super hot chick somewhere, then there's a certain subsect of chicks that gets upset and complain about it. And those people do not care about the IP. They do not care about the brand. They're not going to give you money anyway. They just want to complain. They just want to make you submit to them, right? And so, guys, we can, take it or leave a lot of stuff if it doesn't seem like particularly interesting, simply because there are no hotties in there. I think the reason why so many horror films are made and watched is because they have a hottie in there, right? I'd say 90.
Well, not just that. With a horror movie, there's a good chance there's going to be like a nude scene. So, you're engaged.
Sure. So there's a movie that I know is going to be bad that I might tolerate just because I know there's a hottie in there, right? It's probably why I watch so much
Guilty as
crappy anime.
charged.
Yeah. It's like, whatever. I'll watch it. Sure.
I still don't know the story to Black Swan. I just wanted to see Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis make out.
Sure. Girls do not operate in the same way. It's different. It's very, very different. The competition between males and females is insane. It's something that we won't get. We won't understand. Two chicks could be fighting like a duel to the death right in front of you, and you would not notice. Because it's a different type of battle, right? Does that make sense?
It's an interesting little chess game they got going on.
And so the problem with the girl boss specifically is that they're trying to make a girl dominate in a masculine way, right? Because what do usually heroes do? Like for boys, they come in, they kick ass, or they win through mental strategy and skill, or through overpowering alone, all that stuff. Women win in different ways. They sometimes use their feminine wiles. They use their smarts. Like freaking
Well, I think that's the interesting part of a character like Batman, for example, who he's super fucking strong and buff and whatever, but he's also wicked fucking smart. He makes all these gadgets. He's a detective. He outsmarts people. Most of the times in his comics, he doesn't straight up just beat the enemy, fist the cuffs. He usually beats them in the mental game first, and then he beats the shit out of him, and then, we all have a good time.
Sure. It's competence. In friggin' Alien, let's go to Ripley. One of the most iconic female, actual, what would be a strong woman there. Not a girl boss. I want to say Ripley's a girl boss. I'd say that she's a strong female character. Competent, does not make stupid fucking decisions, and uses her brains and skill to survive in a, let's say, horrifying situation, right? Is that fair? Is that reasonable?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, you betcha.
So, those characters, we like. They're fun. The other girls that just come in and just, the girl boss who's like, oh, I'm better than you, and men are garbage, and they are just better than guys because they're just women. I mean, Anakin was created by one mother in the Force. We make two, right? We created two babies, so we're better than Anakin, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
The Rey could fix the Millennium Falcon easier than Han Solo could, even though she did something that probably would have destroyed it. Right? All these, she beat freaking Kylo Ren straight up in a fight, in their first fight, when she just barely started learning how to do it. It's like, you haven't earned this.
When you tried to defend it.
Well, I figured out a better way that it would have worked. Like, with Star Wars, you start justifying stuff for the creators.
You were doing what the fans have done forever.
Yeah.
You're like, I can kind of retcon this to make sense.
Well, I mean, the guy did just get shot. So, and he was clipped in the arm or whatever. But I do agree, the villain cannot lose the first fight. He just can't.
No.
Can't.
You broke the cardinal pro wrestling rule.
Yeah. And so, I don't know why they want to do this to women specifically. Because, listen, they're not harming me, right? I don't care if you make Captain America a cuck or something. Because to me, that's not Captain America. That's not the real Captain America. I know who Captain America is. I saw the comics. I read the comics. I know the story. I know who he is. You just gave me a weird fanfic version of it that I don't care, and I'm not going to give you money for it. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care if Han Solo is a deadbeat dad. and a loser in general. Because that to me, that's not Han Solo. I don't care. You're just not gonna get my money, right? That's enough. That's your punishment. You don't get money. You're not hurting me. What you're doing is you're kind of harming girls, because what happens to the marbles? Girl power movie. Nobody watches it because girls don't want the girl power movie in the beginning because they don't care about the franchise, and you didn't put a hot guy in it. And now you first off, you put these actresses in a situation where they're radioactive because they have one of the biggest bombs of the year in a supposedly like bulletproof franchise like the MCU, bombed. So now they're radioactive. So now it's harder for them to get jobs because people associate them with losing money. And so you're just hurting them. And if I'm creating a movie, I'm like, hey, we're gonna make a movie and it's a female lead. Now I'm like, oof. Female leads don't make that much money. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if that's a good investment. Maybe we should do something else. So what you're doing is hurting women, right? And a part of me is like, you know what? You did this to yourselves. So the only people who can actually fix this is kind of women. And women need to be the ones who straight up say, fucking stop doing that, please. You're ruining the franchises. Stop it. Because they can't blame women of misogyny, right? They can blame me for it. I can objectively tell you why things are bad. Objectively, and not mention the word women at all, and they will still call me a misogynist. They will still call me a racist, whatever.
The word.
Maybe, right? I can objectively tell you this was wrong because of this, film-wise. All the technical stuff of why it didn't work, all the story stuff why it didn't work, and I could give you an alternate version which would have worked based on my knowledge of the fan base, and they will still just put themselves in the tiny little box of their brains like, no, I'm right, I'm not wrong, I'm perfect. This guy clearly has to be a sexist, misogynist, serial killer, racist, right? Because their brains are that small. However, if girls do it, they'll be like, this girl's a self-hating woman. I don't know. So.
Oh yeah, they do. They say the internalized misogyny.
Kind of. I don't know. But the point is, solution is just don't give them money. They're not getting my money.
You know, when you were talking about this is not my Han Solo, or I don't care what you do, like the what was the other one?
Like Captain America. If you make Captain America,
yeah, if you make him. There's going back to DC real quick. In the comics, there's this version of Superman called Cosmic Armored Superman.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
No.
Cosmic Armored Superman is, I think, objectively the most powerful entity in all of DC.
Okay.
And this is in DC. The literal gods of our Earth exist. Like there's, Hades and Zeus and,
Dr. Manhattan.
Adam and Eve and Lucifer and Dr. Manhattan and the literal creators of the Omniverse or whatever. Cosmic Armored Superman is an entity that protects DC from writers.
Oh, man.
So the entire DC cosmology exists in imagine like a globe, and all of the different timelines are in there, all the planets and whatnot. But outside of that is the paper where everything's written. It's called the Overvoid.
Mm-hmm.
And Cosmic Armored Superman exists as a multiversal, omnipresent being powered by the story of Superman.
Okay.
Itself. He's powered by the story of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically does not allow
writers to do stupid shit.
Yeah, writers to just come in and just completely destroy the essence of a character. And the reason that the reason that they made him was because there was this writer in DC who was famous for hating Superman. And he wanted to just change him completely and get rid of him, and oh my god, we gotta make him just get done with it, and his story sucks and he's boring. So what did they do? They made him into a villain. And they had Cosmic Armored Superman beat the crap out of him.
Good. He deserves it. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, they're like, no. This is the upper limit. This is the page of the entire universe that we write. You do not change the essence within It is protected by Superman himself.
Dun, dun, dun. So that's
They-
actually a pretty clever idea.
So, and believe me, DC does a lot of stupid shit. But goddamn,
Yeah.
they stick to their principles.
At least with Superman sometimes. But it's sad. I think overall it's sad because sometimes you need to let things go. You need to let children suffer in order for them to learn their lessons and stuff like that. It sucks to see Star Wars as a brand die. Again, the big issue here is that I'm not very forgiving. And most people, most people are forgiving, but you need to give them a reason. And you can't piss them off beyond a certain point, right? And so to me, the only way why I would even consider giving them money ever again is if a lot of people get punished. All the people who fucked up. Or if they sell the IP to somebody else. I don't know. Because right now, the only thing I can do to punish them is just not give them money. And it's a fair punishment.
I would be okay if they had like just a change in overall leadership. Be like, all right, we've been clearly been focusing on the very non-important things outside. The only thing that they should care about is making a good product that the fans will enjoy. I don't know why this is so complicated and why it's controversial to say that I don't. That's all I want.
Because they don't. Listen, they don't want you. They don't want you. They want your money, but they don't want you. What they want.
I don't have any money.
What they want is, the girls, the girl audience. That's what they want, right? Or the bunch of the cucks or the white knights and all that. That's what they want. That's what they want you to be. That's not what we are, right? And if you saw the fucking stories, you'd get what attracts us to them. They don't understand why boys like heroes, right? They don't understand why we look up to them. They don't understand why we think Han Solo's cool. They don't understand it. They don't understand why we think Luke's cool. We don't understand why Kenobi's cool. They don't understand shit about us. And so they hate us.
I think the bad part, it's even worse than that, because it's not that they don't understand why Han Solo is cool to us. They have a theory as to why they think boys like Han Solo. And they think we like Han Solo because he's a misogynist and a prick and a bad guy and yada yada, because that's what they think men are. That's their worldview.
Sure.
So you can't even fix it from that angle, because that they've already have it in their heads. They can't fix Han Solo because they think that that's what men think is cool.
And also, like I mentioned before, it's a level of arrogance, incompetence, and they just don't understand what being creative is. And I have the perfect example for this. Kathleen Kennedy, in an interview where they were talking about The Force Awakens, and they asked her about, what do you feel about the criticism that you didn't do anything original in The Force Awakens? And now, people like you and me, when we hear you didn't do anything original with it, we understand that the critique is it follows beat for beat every single plot point that A New Hope did, right? Like a orphan in a desert planet has to run away with Han Solo, blah, blah, blah.
Wasn't it literally Tatooine?
No, it wasn't Tatooine. It was a different planet. And I remember that specifically. And so they asked for that. And I feel like it's a legitimate question. It's a fair question. And the answer could have been, well, this was our first movie. We didn't want to deviate too much. We wanted to show the fans that we understood and respected.
Bring
blah,
the
blah.
old guys who watched New Hope when it came out.
Sure.
It's kind of nostalgic.
Yeah. She said, no. I don't understand that criticism at all. Because, well, every single planet that we've used has been a new planet. Every single destination that we do, most of the characters, they're new and all this stuff. So I don't understand what they're saying. And so it's like, oh my God. This is a person who's too stupid to understand what the criticism is, but thinks she's so smart that we're the idiots. She thinks that just because you, instead of saying he's in Tatooine, he's in, I don't know, Jumba. I forget the name of the planet. I honestly don't forget because I don't care. She's in
Tatooine.
Jumba. It looks exactly like Tatooine. They wear the exact same clothes. They kind of act similarly, but it doesn't have a town. It's got tents. But just because Jakut, is that it? Anyway,
Jacuzzi.
just because it's there, it's different. It's something completely new. It's not the same planet anymore. It's not the same story anymore. You're too stupid to understand that it's totally different. And so at that moment, it hit me like, oh my God. The arrogance and stupidity of this woman. Because there's an easy answer for it. I just gave it. It's a bullshit answer, but it's an answer. Which,
I don't even think it's a bullshit answer. Look, Force Awakens. Its main critique is that it's too similar to A New Hope. But honestly, I get why they did it.
No,
it makes sense.
I understand J.J. Abrams doing it that way because maybe he loved it too much and he didn't want to risk it, or he wanted to honor it in his own way. The big critique is that they made Han Solo a loser, Leia they made everybody losers. Like all the main characters, losers. And that's the big issue. It's like, hey, that character that I loved, that's the reason why I didn't go to watch The Force Awakens because of Rey. Okay? I didn't go there because of Finn. I didn't go there because of Kylo Ren. I didn't go there because of freaking the other guy who I don't even remember. What's the pilot's name? Whatever.
Oh.
I went there to see what the fuck's going on with Luke, Leia, and Han. Right? Chewie had him there too. R2-D2, C-3PO. Fine. That's why I was there. That's the reason why I went to the freaking premiere. If you would have made another movie with these three bozos, I would have been like, maybe I can watch it tomorrow. Or the weekend. But no. The reason why we cared.
Just because, a new Star Wars trilogy, it's been a while. I wonder where they're going. And at that point, I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt.
But again, you were there because of the characters that were already established.
I was interested in seeing what they would do with a modern Star Wars.
Sure.
And at that point, I think it was 2015, so it was very close to, basically the peak of the Marvel universe thing, with the Avengers stuff going on and what have you. So at that point, I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, be like, yeah, why not? Let's see. Let's try something new. Star Wars hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah,
the technology has gotten way better. These special effects are going to be awesome.
The effects were great. The chase scenes, they were fun. They were enjoyable. I do not hate The Force Awakens other than what they did to Han and Leia and Luke. But anyway, let's wrap this up. First off, I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So I've been watching a lot of anime. Got to talk about it. There's a lot of Charger stuff that is happening. I want to talk about the Falcons. I really want to talk about the Falcons. So there's NFL stuff. So we're going to try to kind of organize a little bit better. Eric had been moving. I've been out of town. But we'll try to...
Yeah, I'm in a new place.
Yeah, we'll try to find a way to make this work. Because honestly, dude, I needed this. Like, I haven't really let things out. I can't complain like this to my girlfriend. She doesn't understand. She kind of just looks at me like, that sucks. Sorry.
That sucks, buddy.
But I can't just, let it all out. Netflix have Hajime no Ippo.
Hajime no Ippo? Yeah, I didn't know that. That sounds fucking awesome.
What's Hajime no Ippo?
It's a boxing anime.
Oh, interesting. What is that?
If you want to get inspired to work out?
I do.
Well, I'll tell you.
Dude, I've been having back issues. Like, it's a problem.
Me too.
Fuck you. You're just copying.
Is this a pandemic?
No, the issue that I had, and I'm sorry for whoever doesn't care about this, but I might actually be helping you. So I've been having...
No. If you're still watching at this point, you care.
Sure.
And we love you for it.
Sure. Yeah. So I love that anime. It's really good. The Machine Film says it's really good. So...
Oh, yeah, they're awesome.
Okay, so awesome. I started having an intense pain kind of from my butt all the way to my ankle. So it's from the back, then it goes to the front, and then it goes to like thigh, everywhere, like the entire leg. It's a sharp pain. It happens randomly.
Is it the sciatica thing?
It's the sciatica thing. So I looked it up, the sciatica, and I found some stretches that I started doing the stretches. It was not helping. It was not helping whatsoever. And then, so I asked my girl, like, can you give me a massage to see? Because they said, do a massage to see if you can find a pain or something. And so in the middle of my back, there was a little bit of pain. And so I looked it up. Sciatica, you could have had like a hernia, like a herniated disc or something. And that's what causes the pain. And so I saw some other exercises you could do for the upper back so that it could relieve the pain. So what it does, those exercises are great because it actually like kind of like compresses the pain to your lower back. And so it's not on your leg anymore. The bad part about the leg pain is that there's no injury in your leg. It just hurts. So if you start running or something or moving like a lot or stretch, you can start doing it normally, but it'll hurt a lot more afterwards. But there's no injury. So there's nothing actually stopping you from moving normally, like a normal leg injury. It's just pain. Anyway. And so there's no injury, there's no soothing it. It's like there's no massage you could do or something. Anyway. So I found those stretches and I've started doing them. And the other day for my softball game, I ran straight into the freaking fence, right? Straight into the fence. And everything just started hurting more. And I didn't even catch the ball. It was the worst part. But anyway, so my back started hurting a lot more. At this point, like, okay, now I need to go see the doctor. Because the stretches were working, but I need to go to the doctor now. I don't want to risk it getting worse. I don't want to risk having to have surgery instead of, just taking it easy a few days. I go to the doc, and the doc says, basically, out of all the symptoms that you've told me, I don't think you have a hernia. I think it's something in your lower back, and it's probably because you sit too long in your car. So that fucking car again. I'll complain about that soon, because that's honestly, it's been the bane of my existence, and it's honestly the reason why I haven't done the podcast so much, because I'm just angry all the time because of the fucking car. Anyway, so the doc's like, it's probably your back. And I told the doc, all right, so I've been doing these leg stretches and all this stuff. Like, those are good. Yeah, keep doing those. And like, I'm also been doing these upper back ones. Like, oh, those are really bad. That's really bad. Like, but why? Because you're stretching kind of the upper part and the lower part, but the part that's fucked up is in the middle. So you kind of just keep leaving the middle part fucked up. And sometimes it's even worse because you're actually straining it. Like, oh, all right, well, whoopsie. Anyway, I got some pills, and that's the update on that. So right now I'm standing.
You're taking the drugs now.
I'm taking the drugs. I'm doing the drugs right now. I'm standing. I don't know if you can tell that I'm standing. Every once in a while, I just feel like a really sharp pain in my leg, but it's getting better. Things are starting to look up, man. I can feel it. I'm turning this franchise around. Kind of, hopefully. The point is, I feel better. I need to get all this out. I need to... Dude, I don't have a creative outlet anymore. It's crazy. So I need it. I need to...
I've sort of felt that a little bit. At least I sort of have my shows still, so that kind of has got something.
Yeah. No, well,
my music show's not a podcast.
Yeah. By the way, you want to shout anything out?
Well, not yet, but I actually am starting to work on some musical related material.
All right.
That I sort of want to build up before actually putting it out in the world.
Gotcha. All right, so I think we're going to start wrapping this up. As always, comments, questions, suggestions, you can find me at DarioSDW and at Super Dario World. Like this video, share this channel, all that stuff. It actually really helps me out. What else? What am I missing? What do I need to do?
What are we going to talk about going on?
Well, the thing, first off, we need to actually get a schedule going, right? And now certain things are starting to free up. Again, I don't have the cooking class anymore. That's good. You kind of now have a more stable thing, which is good.
Yeah.
We figured out that we could actually do this on Discord, which is good. That was also another...
You finally learned Discord.
Kind of. I honestly, I'm surprised. I didn't think the quality would be this good. Like, I thought it would look crappier or sound crappier, but it's actually better than Zoom. So, that's one thing out. So we need to coordinate a little bit, but it was good. I think this was good. I don't know what you guys think in the chat. Was it the worst one yet? When is the next episode SDW? I can't do next Tuesday because I have a game. Thursdays I have games.
You gotta set a specific day, I think. I think that's what the people want. They want consistency.
I know. I want consistency. because otherwise I just make plans on certain days. The issues that my job is kind of sporadic. Like, for example, 2 Wednesdays out of the month, I have to do some training sessions, right? So I need to train people on stuff, which requires me to be at work later than usual. It's usually early, but I have to be there later than usual. So that kind of fucks up my Wednesdays unless we do it really late. But then we're depending on the border crossing not being fucking disgustingly bad. So I don't know. We'll talk about more of that stuff behind the scenes. Oh, so it's good seeing you, buddy. Yeah, it's a
Yeah. Likewise.
I think we've talked twice in the last month. You never answered the
Depends.
text.
What month is it?
It's June.
I don't know, man. It's been a roller coaster. Oh, freaking. Right now, I'm like half asleep just because work was fucking intense today.
I hear you.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. The price of success. Anyway, that's it. As always, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.